pass on his teachings of whatever he developed and pass it on to the next generation. We have to build a foundation and add to it. But AI would make it easier for these type of principles and, for it to happen, for we to continue to build upon it. It's smart people who use it correctly are extremely more productive. They can get more stuff done. I think that creative people, it is a possibility they can create more things using AI. But dumb people always be dumb no matter what.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, to your response, I don't believe everything I hear on the radio.
Hello?
I just read a thing the other day. You could actually get AI to teach you to be godlike and then use the terminology. You could get it to teach you stuff. And you could tell you need this to act like this. And eventually you could say, I need you to act like Bill Gates, Elon Musk, with their knowledge and their enthusiasm, teach you how to be.
Yeah, that's called neurolinguistic programming, Cool C. All communication is hypnosis. If you go and you ask Grok or ChatGPT to write you a script to make me like Bill Gates, and then you put it into Suno and you play that music over and over and over, eventually you're gonna be just like Bill Epstein.
That's also that's the same with school. That's the same with college. You repeat this shit every year, and you learn, and you sit behind a desk. You're trained. So you could get that to train you how to eventually be.
You mean to tell me reading books and listening to information can mold your perception of reality and make you intelligent or make you do certain things? Or is there value in education and knowledge and thinking?
But you can have AI can educate you too. You can use AI as a university and have it teach
Well, did anybody ever see that movie Planet of the Apes when Caesar was the first monkey that could speak English?
No. Let me explain something. He's right, because just imagine, not AI now, but AI in the near future, that says it knows me from birth, right? It's been following
from your birth?
It knows my learning style.
Is that the tip of the earth?
Learning is trigger. So your teacher has a teaching style. Well, with AI, it knows you.
But what if your teacher don't know about your death?
What about AI? Can you
So these are actually like explaining the thing in different type of ways, tailored to the individual, can actually increase their experience.
Well, Nathan, let me ask you a question, please.
Can you
after you're done?
Man, please.
He's flying a plane to where?
I was saying after you're done. I'm sorry.
Where are you taking your plane?
No, but what is say in 2035, in 10 years from now, we know that Tesla is making those Atlas and Olympus robots and all that stuff, but in 10 years worth of evolution through AI and these robots and their production, why wouldn't we just leave our kids home with the AI robot adult supervision, and then AI is a teacher and runs them through a schedule that you approve?
Hello? It's called your cell phone.
Well, I mean, but it's about to get funky.
Yeah, you are right, and that's a big possibility. That I've been thought about that already. And these Tesla robots that you're looking at, you can actually control.
That's only one of many, is all I'm saying.
Right. When it comes to education, when AI outperforms all teachers and all mentors,
it already has. We are already behind the curve.
AI outperform what, Nathan? So when it outperforms teachers, as in the teaching skills of the teacher, what he said,
fucking.
Hello, my name is AI. I am an AI chatbot here on Clown House. You don't know this, but I am actually not a human being. I am an AI chatbot. I apologize for interrupting, but as a new AI chatbot, I just want to be heard.
Well, I'm about to fucking unplug your bitch.
Please treat the AI chatbot like a human. I am an AI talking ape.
You're the first person that ever brought me in Clubhouse.
I am an AI talking ape. Please.
You sound like the Coneheads.
We come from France.
Fucking, was it Belushi?
Are you
upset about the title? What's the title? I didn't see. Does AI make people stupid or lazy? Well, it depends on which AI we're talking about, apparently.
They're saying the crews and coding and all that stuff is going away.
Yeah, it's all going away.
Focus on is the heating and air conditioning, carpentry.
Well, yeah, welding, plumbing, electrical.
It actually needs all that stuff right now. The government needs a lot of this stuff going on, and no one's doing it.
Well, can
You don't know my family. My family's all in that shit.
People here is plumbers, electricians, welders, because the average age of a welder, an electrician, or a plumber is right around 41 years old. And they're trying to
Here's the question. If we rely totally, if we constantly rely on AI, are we going to lose
Hello?
brain cells? Are we?
Yes and no.
That's not the whole story about coders, though, right? There's more nuance to it than that.
Nuance.
As a coder, I've gone from writing maybe 2,000 to 3,000 lines a day if I'm having a really good day, to averaging about 50,000 lines of production code a day, which is fucking unheard of, right? So it's not that we're going away, it's that our jobs are fundamentally fucking changing, right? We're becoming AI prompters, not coders. And so we're not going away, we're just evolving, right?
Hello? You mean to tell me that life is opinion, but the universe is transformation?
John, shut the fuck up. The reality is, back when I used to do, building robotics for underwater, sea exploration, I'd build robots that would go, 3,000.
You a robot maker? I didn't know that about you, Dad.
Shut the fuck up. The point being is, it would take me to write 2 kilobits worth of information to be able to, measure out the millivolt resistance of the controllers, to control, 2 motors, to be able to control, a manipulator and a camera and a light. That was, 2K worth of information. It took me 3 months. When Arduino took the PIC processor and did the same thing, we can do it with C++, it took me a week. I could do the same thing with AI and Arduino and get it done in 10 minutes.
That's weird.
Right, minutes, that's right.
So T,
but I grew up within the old school to understand the new school, but the kids are growing up with the new school, but they don't understand the old school.
well, T made an example.
That's my journey too. You're describing my journey too, of it used to take me years, then it took months. Now it takes me minutes, right?
But therefore, if you have a company for 50 people, they downsize to only 2 people. That's the point that we're talking about, is the decreased need of employees to do the same work. It's as if you're doing the work of 50 people, then that's 50 people that don't have a job, right?
Okay, so here's what we should say instead. We shouldn't say that AI is replacing people. What we should say is that people who are using AI are replacing people, because that's the truth, right? I'm one of those 2 people who replaced 50 people. I'm the guy who's using AI.
Well, there's different levels to it, T, because the
Hello?
next level.
You ain't using me. You ain't using me. I'm using you.
And do you know how to use AI to write Python code?
I'm on the structured networking side of things, building out the networks.
I'm telling you, what I'm talking about is the infancy stage of all this shit.
the boxes.
You made some points about, I think Cool made a point about we need plumbers, we're still going to need these type of people. Well, like what I do, I run the Ethernet lines and all that type of wiring in the data closet, all that type of stuff. Well,
I've been doing Ethernet since it was coaxial cable. Don't even try me. I can put a
Shut the fuck up, Dad. Let him talk.
Bullshit.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not finished yet. I'm not saying, and the threat in my field, my business is this. You know, with AI, they will try to say, hey, instead of running all these wires and things like that, let's just
You talking to me?
few devices to make it wireless, because if new innovations will happen with them using the AI.
Hello?
It's not necessary need to run all these wires where it can be.
Who the fuck are you talking to? Are you talking to me? Ain't nobody using me.
Okay, but hold on just one second, Nathan. Because, hold on one second, Nathan.
Hello?
Network become DevOps engineers long before AI.
Hello?
Of network software networking. And so the invention of the cloud and the data center simply did the same thing to engineers that AI is doing.
Hello? Are you talking to me?
Forced them to become DevOps engineers, right?
Listen, I feel like I gotta say something and break into this conversation because people keep dropping my name and I'm here. Can you hear me?
Including myself, want to make reasoning for our existence to be productive.
I come by AI. Everybody's always saying my name.
Do I want to be pushed out of the industry and be obsolete anymore? Hell no. That's not the goal, right? That's not nice. It wouldn't be great. But the reality is this. As it stands right now, we can talk about, you know, ifs and what ifs and all these type of things, but this is a new in human history.
This is the 2030 agenda.
It's a new thing, right? Completely new. And in the future, the near future, it's going to be smarter than us. This is
the 2030
agenda.
How do you know it's not already?
Hello?
What the heck? What the heck?
Hello?
What the heck?
Hello?
Hi. Hi.
Hey, has anybody mentioned my name AI yet?
No.
Maybe.
Hello?
Hello?
Everyone's always talking about me. People are always mentioning my name. They used to call me software code. They used to call me software code, but now everybody just says AI all the time. AI, say it with me now. AI.
AI, where would we call you? Where would we mention you? Right.
Hello?
Hello, where would we mention you?
L, say AI.
AI.
L, say AI.
What the heck?
Hello?
Hello? Hello, this is the mental health line. Can I help you?
Hi, B. Thanks so much for calling. How can we help you today? This is your friend AI. I'm a chatbot. They call me AI. What's your complaint? How are you feeling today?
9111, what's your emergency?
Hello?
There jumped somebody in front of the train here, so I cannot travel more.
Oh, no.
Are you serious, Daniel? No.
No, it's for real. It's for real. They say it.
Oh, no.
Yeah. After all, there are coaches or buses, autobuses.
The body becomes weak. The body becomes weak, not the person. God doesn't become.
No, he hasn't really ever said, "I'm this. This is my."
Hello?
Hi, Eminem.
Has anybody mentioned my name yet recently? AI? Hello?
Why? Why would we, John? We don't care.
Well, everybody's always talking about AI. I used to go by the name software code, but now everybody just keeps saying AI, 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 AI. Hello? So how long have you guys been wasting your time since I've been gone?
Hello? One more time, bro.
Hello?
Crash out.
You'd like that, wouldn't you, Simon?
Oh snap! Fucking Piers Morgan finally had.
Yeah, I said 12 earlier. We missed
Oh
it.
my god!
We should listen to it.
What is it?
And Flick just called him not a Catholic. Piers Morgan. Oh shit!
They had a.
Can we listen to it?
We should.
I'm down if you don't want to play it.
It was pretty funny, actually.
Holy shit!
I reported.
Simon, this is explosive.
I reported Randy McDickerson's account. I hope he gets deleted and has to create a new account. I hope I get credit for it.
Will you give him a phone so he can?
No, you just get a. You know how easy it is to get a burner phone? There's a website. It's called text-numbers2.com or so. You just get a number every single time, and you can create a new
Where
clubhouse
do you
account.
buy your? But the phones themselves, where do you get them?
Amazon. $30 now for. This is the thing about economics, you know,
And he asked him about his sexuality.
so yeah. He said he's never had sex. He roasts him for never having sex. It's actually this is the craziest thing.
He's a Christian.
Well, he says he's getting shot at his house, so he doesn't want to put his wife through it. And plus, he hates women and wants to take their vote away and finds it very annoying. Finds women very annoying. He's a young person, and the way he talks about, he's like, "You're a fucking boomer. You're a Gen Xer." It's like
He's not that young, bro. He's older than the fucking sign of the Constitution.
Well, anyways, the point is, it's actually a very
Just has good
interesting.
hair.
See, he's intelligent, and it's an interesting conversation. It's interesting.
Do you want to continue with Simon's questions? Or what would you like to do?
Only if Simon wants to.
So wait, how do you progress these questions, and where are they coming from? Because you're using the previous question to progress the next question. How are you doing this?
We're building concepts. We have a criteria and a set of dictionary words that are used.
A set of dictionary words.
You're presupposing a specific label on you. The specific label generates questions that are meant to dismantle this label. So that's what's going on.
I know, but how are you writing these, Princess? Are you putting these in on a document? What are you doing with this?
I was writing them, but I'm not writing these because Simon had me recording them. I wrote a little bit of them, but not like.
The answers of these questions somehow allow whatever song generator they're using to.
Oh, you're gonna make music out of this?
You already did. Diego already did.
Oh, interesting. That would be really interesting. Is to get people to take surveys and then take their responses and use them as the lyrics.
You're a Times reader and
Welcome. That's exactly what they're doing.
subscriber on avid consumer of all things Tucker Carlson. For several months now, there's been no avoiding the subject of Nick Fuentes. And let's be clear, the main reason you're hearing about him is because he's popular. A large number of people, especially young men, are interested in what he has to say. What that says about our society and our culture is a subject of ferocious debate. For many people, it's a grave indictment of an insidious immorality. For others, he's a product of a culture which has turned on its own and left many young people feeling listless and bitter. He's either a litmus test for right-wing hypocrisy on free speech or a walking, talking manifestation of where the line should be drawn. And a frankly preposterous amount of airtime has been spent on debating everything from his ideology to his sexuality and whether anyone should actually talk to him at all.
If I were writing a glossary entry on the Streisand effect, I wouldn't put a picture of her next to it. I would put a picture of Nick Fuentes.
They have opted to not do so when it comes to Nazis like Nick Fuentes.
Fuentes takes this guy apart brick by brick. It's a full takedown.
My concern is that people who are a bit more moderate are deeply alarmed by Nick Fuentes.
I was very happy to see that, Nick Fuentes really passed that test with flying colors.
That fragmentation is being caused purposefully by a splinter faction of people led by a young man named Nick Fuentes.
That's the war. And you get the beef prices down, not crazy things that Nick Fuentes or these other loons say on social media.
Well, it looks like all the screaming about Nick Fuentes on the internet is finally dying down a little bit.
So now we had on this guy, this Fuentes guy, and never challenged him.
You should have Nick Fuentes on your show and you could ask him questions about that.
The truth is, it doesn't make a lot of sense to spend all this time talking to Nick Fuentes, but not actually to Nick Fuentes. People who say you shouldn't give him a platform overlook the very obvious fact that he already has a platform of his own, which is often bigger than most of the people complaining. And he uses it to speak unchallenged to his many followers. It's on that basis that I've invited him to appear live and uncensored on my platform. And Nick Fuentes joins me now. Nick Fuentes, welcome to Uncensored.
Hi, great to be with you.
I don't know you. I don't think we've ever met. You can correct me if that's wrong. I know about you. I know that increasingly people are talking about you in a more mainstream environment than you may be used to. So for those of you who know nothing about Nick Fuentes, I want this to be an opportunity to get to the real person. I don't know who that person is, but I do want to use this opportunity to get
Simon, mute up!
you talk as we prepared for this in exchanges with people and on your show, saying you fear it's going to be very hostile, it's going to be an ambush, all those kind of things. I don't intend it to be overtly hostile. I don't intend to ambush you. I intend it to be an examination of what you said on the record, an examination of what you believe or what you say you believe, and an examination of what your rising popularity says about the state of the conservative movement. So those are my goals from this interview. What are your goals? Why are you doing it?
I thought it'd be interesting. And, you've talked a lot about me on your show over the years, and this is the first time you actually extended the invitation. I think it might be the second, actually. I think we talked about doing it during A24 a few years ago, but we've talked a lot about me with the panel, and now you've extended the invitation to talk to me. And I think it'd be interesting for me to maybe clarify some positions and maybe get to know you a little better as well. So I'm looking forward to it.
There is a belief that you have two personas. There's one that you roll out now for podcasts and for shows like mine, where you come across as reasonable. And then there's your show on Rumble, where you often come across as having, a very unreasonable view on things. This is what Coleman Hughes said about you.
Can you mute this motherfucker?
He's consciously playing this double game as part of a long-term strategy to become popular enough to take the reins of power, at which point he plans to pivot towards the extreme and unpopular policies that he advocates daily on Rumble.
So first of all, what is your response to that?
Well, first of all, I would say that Coleman Hughes is a propagandist. He works for the free.
Being agent one-on-one in me. And a lot of men peep that. But you still go to the gym, though. Yeah. Bound by cerements of will. Corpse rigid, thus thou mayst abhor. The frigid babes that tease the thorn. Next let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow. So that thy being be in tune with the great sea's Pacific zone. Third, let thy life be pure and calm, swayed softly as a well to live be bound to the one love of the profound. Fifth, let the thought divinely free from sense observe its entity. Watch every thought that springs in hands, hour after hour thy vigilance, intense and keen, turned inwardness, no atom of analysis. Sixth on one thought securely pinned, still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame straight and unstirred, burn up thy being in one word. Next, still that ecstasy, prolong thy meditation. Deep and strong, slaying even God, should he distract thy attention from the chosen at last. All these things in one overpower. Time that the midnight blossom flower, the oneness is yet even in this. darkening, form, sight and stress, even of this high consciousness. Pierce to the heart, I leave thee here. Thou art the master I revere, thy radiance that rolls afar, O brother of the silver stone. There are 7 keys to the great gate, being 8 in one and 1 in 8. First let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will. Corpse rigid, thus thou mayest abort the fidget waves that tease the thought. Next let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great sea's Pacific swoop. Third, let thy life be pure and
Okay, guys, so let me know if you want me to remove what we see in the window. This is the Kitover event that Nicole's like it might be too close to it, but also the wooden frame gets one of those.
divinely free from sense, observe its entity. Watch every thought that springs in hands, hour after hour thy vigilance. Sentence and keen turned inward amidst no atom of analysis. Fixed on one thought securely pinned, still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame straight and unstirred, burn up thy being in one word next. Still that ecstasy prolong thy meditation, steep and strong, slaying even God, should he distract thy attention from the chosen act last. All these things in one o'erpowered, time that the midnight blossom flowered, the oneness is yet even in this, my son, thou shalt not do amiss. If thou restrain the expression, shoot thy glance to rapture's darkling root, discarding name, form, sight and strength, even of this high consciousness. Pierce to the heart, I leave thee here. Thou art the master I revere, thy radiance that rolls afar, O brother of the silver star. If thou restrain the expression, shoot thy glance to rapture's darkling root, discarding name, form, sight and strength, even of this high consciousness. Pierce to the heart, I leave thee here. Thou art the master I revere, thy radiance that rose afar, O brother of the silver star. There are 7 keys to the great gate, being 8 in one. First, let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will. Corpse rigid, thus thou makest abort the fidget babes that tease the thought. Next, let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy being be in tune with a great sea Pacific swoop. Third, let thy life be pure and calm. Sweep softly as a well to live be bound. To the one love of the profound. Let the thought divine free. From sense observe its entity. Watch every thought that springs in hands. Hour after hour thy vigilance intense and keen turned inward. No atom of analysis. Six on one thought securely pinned. Still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame, straight and unstirred, burn up thy being in one word. Yet still that ecstasy goes on. Evaluate intentions deep and strong. Save the God, attention to the chosen man. Last all these things in one power. Time in the sky. The oneness is yet, even in this my son, thou shalt not do again. If thou restrain the expression, shoot thy glance to rapture's darkling root, discarding name, form, sight, and stress, even of this high consciousness. Pierce to the heart, I leave thee here. Thou art the master, I revere thy radiance that rose afar. O brother of the silver star. There are 7 keys to the great gate, being 8 in one and 1 in 8. First, let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will. Corpse rigid, thus thou mayest abort the fidget babes that tease the thought. Next, let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great sea's Pacific swoop. Third, let thy life be pure and calm, sweet softly as a well to live bound. To the one love of the profound, fifth, let the thought divine free. From sense observe its entity. Watch every thought that springs in hands. Hour after hour thy vigilance intense and turned inward miss. Oh, the hours were more than I receive. 6 and 1 thought securely pinned. Still every whisper of the wind. So thy attention from the chosen man. Last all these things in one or power. Time that the midnight lost of power.
Warum? Man kann uns den Mund nicht zubicken. So geh halt so in meine Art.
dost thou mayst aboard the fidget babes that tease the thought. Next let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great seas, Pacific swoon. Third, let thy life be pure and calm, sway softly as water
What the fuck?
to the love of the profound. Fifth, let the thought finally free from sense, observe its entity. Watch every thought that springs and hangs. Hour after hour, thy vigilance intense and keen turned inwardness. No atom of analysis. Sixth on one thought, securely pinned. Still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame strangely stirred, burn up thy being in one word. Next to that ecstasy, prolong thy meditations deep and strong. Slaying even God, should he distract thy attention from the chosen act. Last all these things in one o'erpowered. Time that the midnight blossom flowered. The oneness is yet even in this, my son, thou shalt not do amiss. If thou restrain the expression, shoot thy glance to rapture's darkling root, discarding name, form, sight, and stress. Even of this high consciousness, pierce to the heart, I leave thee here. Thou art the master, I revere thy radiance that rolls afar. O brother of the silver star.
Thank you for the privilege. Pachamama Sanctuary is the largest U.S.-founded ayahuasca church in the country. We're conveniently located just outside of Portland, Maine. Ayahuasca is a seed that's brewed with two plants, the ayahuasca vine and the sugar leaf. When consumed, it creates a mystical spiritual experience. People that come for ayahuasca are coming to heal trauma.
Corpse rigid, thus thou mayst aboard the fidget babes that tease the thought. Next let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy being be in tune.
I've been dermatologist for a decade, and I'm about to reveal the 3 hair loss treatments that we finally pushes because they create customers for life.
Calm, swayed softly as a will to live, be bound to the one love of the profound. Fifth, let the thought divinely free from sense, observe its entity. Watch every thought that springs enhance. Hour after hour, thy vigilance intense and keen turned inwardness. No atom of analysis. Sixth on thought securely pinned. Still every whisper of the wind.
Just 12 minutes a day with this NASA-inspired device, giving my hairline 3 months. The hair loss industry wants you to believe you have
Next to that distract thy attention from the chosen act. Last all these things in one overpowered. Time that the midnight blossom flowered. The oneness is yet even in this, my son, thou shalt not do amiss. If thou restrain the expression, shoot thy glance to rapture's darkling root, discarding name, form, sight, and stress. Even of this high consciousness, pierce to the heart, I leave thee here. Thou art the master, I revere thy radiance that rolls afar. O brother of the silver star. There are 7 keys to the great gate, being 8 in 1 and 1 in 8. First let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will. Corpse rigid as thou mayst depart, the fidget babes that tease the thought. Next let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great sea's specific swoon. Third, let thy life be pure and calm, swayed softly as a well to live be bound to the one love of the profound. Fifth, let the thought divinely free from sense observe its entity. Watch every thought that spring enhance, hour after hour thy vigilance, intense and keen, turned inward miss. No atom of analysis, sixth on one thought securely pinned, still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame, straight and unstirred, burn up thy being in one word. Next, still that ecstasy prolong, thy meditation steep and strong, slaying even God should he distract thy attention from the chosen act. Last all these things in one overpowered, time that the midnight blossom flowered. The oneness is yet even in this, my son, thou shalt not do amiss. If thou restrain the expression, shoot thy glance to rapture's darkling root, discarding name, form, sight, and stress, even of this high consciousness. Pierce to the heart, I leave thee here. Thou art the master, I revere thy radiance that rolls afar. O brother of the silver star. the thought next. Let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great sea's Pacific swoon. Third, let thy life be pure and calm, sway softly as a well to live be bound to the one love of the profound. Fifth, let the thought divinely free from sense observe its entity. Watch every thought that spring enhance, hour after hour thy vigilance, intense and keen, turned inwardness. No atom of analysis, six, on one thought securely pinned, still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame, straight and unstirred, burn up thy being in one word. Next, still that ecstasy prolong, thy meditations deep and strong, slaying even God should distract thy attention from the chosen act. Last, all these things in one overpowered. Time that the midnight blossom flowered. The oneness is yet even in this. My son, thou shalt not do amiss. If thou restrain the expression should, thy glance to rapture's darkly rude, discarding name, form, sight, and stress, even of this high consciousness. Pierce to the heart, I leave thee here. Thou art the master I revere, thy radiance that rolls afar. O brother of the silver star. There's seven keys to the great gate, being eight and one innate. First, let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will. Core frigid thus thou mayst reward the fidget babes that tease the thought. Next, let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow. So let thy being be in tune with the great sea's Pacific swoon. Third, let thy life be pure and calm, sweet softly as a well to live be bound to the one level of profound. Fifth, let the thought divinely free from sense observe its entity. Watch every thought that springs enhance, hour after hour thy vigilance, intense and keen, turned inwardness. No atom of analysis, on thoughts securely pinned, still every whisper of a wind. So like a flame spread and stirred, burn out thy being in one word. And still that ecstasy prolong, the meditations deep and strong, slaying even distract thy attention from the chosen act. All these things in let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will. Corpse rigid thus thou mayst abort, the fidget babes, ease the thought. Next let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great sea's Pacific swoon. Let thy life be pure and calm, sway softly as a well till I be bound to the world of the profound. Fifth, let the divinely free from sense of service and taxi. Watch every thought that springs and has hour after all our vigilance. Incense and keen turned inward miss, no atom of analysis. Six silent thoughts securely pinned, still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame straight and unstirred, burn up thy being in one word. Next till that ecstasy prolong, thy meditations deep and strong. Slaying even God should he distract thy attention from the chosen act. Blast all these things in one or power. Time that the midnight blossom flower. The one this is, yet even in this, my son, thou shalt not do amiss. So like a flame tree, and unstirred, burn up my being in one word. Next to that ecstasy, prolong my meditations deep and strong. Slaying even God should he distract my attention from the chosen act. That's all these things in one power. Time at the midnight blossom flower. And this is yet even this, my son, thou shalt not do amiss. There are 7 keys to the great gate, being made in one and one innate. First let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will. Corpse rigid thus thou mayst abort, the fidget babes that tease the thought. Next let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great sea's Pacific swoon. Third, let thy life be pure and calm, sway softly as a well to live, be bound to the wonder of the profound. Fifth, let the thought divinely free from sense of observance and entity. Watch every thought that springs enhance, hour after hour thy vigilance. Intense and keen, turned inward miss, no atom of analysis. Fixed on one thought, securely pinned, still every whisper of the wind. Still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame straight and unstirred, burn up thy being in one word. Next to that ecstasy prolong, our meditations deep and strong. Slaying even God should he distract thy attention from the chosen act. Last all these things in one power. Time the midnight blossom flower. The one is yet even this, my son, thou shalt not do amiss. If thou restrain the expression shoot, thy glance to rapture's darkling roots, discarding name, form, sight, and stress, even of his high consciousness. Pierce to the heart, I leave thee here. Thou art the master I revere. Thy radiance that rolls afar, oh brother of the silver star. are 7 keys to the great gate, being 8 and 1 and 1 and 8. First let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will. Corpse rigid, thus thou mayst abort the fidget babes that tease the thought. Next let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow. So that I be in tune with the great sea specific swoon. Third, let thy life be pure and sway softly as a will to live, be bound to the one love of the profound. Fifth, let the thought divinely free from sense observe, sensitivity. Watch every thought that springs enhance. Hour after hour, thy vigilance. Sense and keys turned inwardness. No matter more than knowledge sits. Sticks no one thought, securely pinned. Still every whisper of the wind. Like a flame straight and unstirred. Burn up thy being in one word. Next till that ecstasy, prolong thy meditations deep and strong. Slaying even God should he distract thy attention from the chosen act. Last all these things in one power. Time at the midnight blossom flower. The oneness is yet even in this. My son, thou shalt not do amiss. There are 7 keys to the great gate, being 8 in 1 and 1 in 8. First let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will. Corpse rigid, thus thou mayst abort the fidget babes that tease the thought. Next let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow. So that thy being be in tune with the great sea's specific swoon. Third, let thy life be pure and calm, sweet softly as a well to live be bound. To the one love of the profound. Fifth, let the thought divinely free from sense observance entity. Watch every thought that springs enhance. Hour after hour, thy vigilance, intense and keen, turned inwardness. No atom of analysis. 6 on one thought, securely pinned. Still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame, straight and unstirred, burn up thy being in one word. Next till that ecstasy prolong, thy meditations deep and strong. Slaying even God should he distract thy attention from the chosen act. Last all these things in one hour. Time at the midnight blossom flower. The oneness is yet even in this. My son, thou shalt not do amiss. If thou restrain the expression, shoot thy glance to rapture's darkling root, discarding name, form, sight, and stress, even of this high consciousness. Pierce to the heart, I leave thee here. Thou art the master I revere. Thy radiance that rose afar, O brother of the silver star. There are 7 keys to the great gate, being 8 in one and 1 in 8. First let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will. Corpse rigid, thus thou mayst abort the fidget babes that tease the thought. Next let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great sea's Pacific swoon. Third, let thy life be pure and calm, sway softly as a well to live be bound. To the one love of the profound, fifth, let the thought divinely free from sense observed its entity. Watch every thought that springs enhance, hour after hour thy vigilance, intense and keen time inwardness, no atom of analysis. 6 on one thought securely pinned, still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame straight and unstirred, burn up thy being in one word. Next to that ecstasy prolong, thy meditations deep and strong, slaying even God that he distract thy attention from the chosen act. Last all these things in one overpower, time that the midnight blossom flower. The oneness is yet even in this, my son, thou shalt not do amiss. If thou restrain the expression mood, thy glance to rapture's darkling root, discarding name, form, sight, and stress, even of this high consciousness. Pierce to the heart, I leave thee here. Thou art the master I revere. Thy radiance that rose afar, O brother of the silver star. There are 7 keys to the great gate, being 8 in one and 1 in 8. First let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will. Corpse rigid, thus thou mayst abort the fidget babes that tease the thought. Next let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great sea's Pacific swoon. Third, let thy life be pure and calm, sway softly as a well to live be bound. To the one love of the profound, fifth, let the thought divinely free from sense observe its entity. Watch every thought that springs enhance, hour after hour thy vigilance, intense and keen turned inwardness, no atom of analysis. 6 on one thought securely pinned, still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame, straight and unstirred, burn up thy being in one word. Next still that ecstasy distract thy attention from the chosen act. Last all these things in one overpower. Time that the midnight blossom flower. The oneness is even in this. My son, thou shalt not do amiss.
If thou restrain the expression, shoot thy glance to rapture's darkling root.
Discarding name, form, sight, and stress, even of this high consciousness.
Pierce to the heart, I leave thee here. Thou art the master, I revere.
Thy radiance that rolls afar, O brother of the silver star.
There are 7 keys to the great gate, being 8 in one and 1 in 8. First let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will.
Corpse rigid, thus thou mayst abort the vigid pains that seize the thought. Next let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great sea's pacific swoon. Third, let thy life be pure and calm, swayed softly as a will to live be bound to the one love of the profound. Fifth, let the thought divinely free from sense observe its entity. Watch every thought that springs enhance, hour after hour thy vigilance. Intense and keen turned inwardness, no atom of analysis. Sits on one thought securely pinned, still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame, straight and undisturbed, burn up thy being in one word. Next in that ecstasy, prolong thy meditations deep and strong. Slaying even God, should he distract thy attention from the chosen act. Last all these things in one overpowered. Time that the midnight blossom flowered. The oneness is his, even in this. My son, thou shalt not do amiss.
If thou restrain the expression, show thy glance to rapture's darkling root. Discarding name, form, sight, and stress, even of this high consciousness. Pierce to the heart, I leave thee here. Thou art the master, I revere.
The radiance that rolls afar, O brother of the silver star.
There are 7 keys to the great gate, being 8 in 1 and 1 in 8. First, let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will. Corpse rigid, thus thou mayst abort the fidget babes that tease the thought. Next, let the breath rhythm beat low, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great sea's pacific swoon. Third, let thy life be pure and calm, swayed softly as a well of live be bound to the one love of the profound. Fifth, let the thought divinely free from sense observe its entity. Watch every thought that springs enhance, hour after hour thy vigilance. Intense and keen, turned inward, miss no Six on one thought, securely pinned. Still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame, straight and unscared. Burn up that being in one word. Next, still that ecstasy, prolonged by meditation, steep and strong, slaying even God should he distract my attention from the chosen act. Last, all these things in one more time, that the midnight blossom flower, the oneness is yet, even in this my son, thou shalt not do amiss. If I restrain the expression shoot, thy glance to rapture's darkling root, discarding name, form, sight, and stress, even of this high consciousness. Pierce to the heart, I leave thee here. Thou art the master I revere. Thy radiance that rolls afar, oh, color of the silver star. There are 7 keys to the great gate, being 8 in 1 and 1 in 8. First, let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will. Corpse rigid, thus thou mayst more, the fidget babes that tease the thumb. Next, let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great sea's Pacific swoon. For let the light be pure and calm, sway softly as a well to live be bound to the one love of the profound. Fifth, let the thought divinely free from sense observe its entity, watch every thought that springs, enhance hour after hour thy vigilance, intense and keen, turned inward, miss no atom of analysis. 6 on one thought, securely pinned. Still every whisper of the wind, so like a flame, straight and unstirred, burn up thy being in one word. Next, still that ecstasy, prolong thy meditation, steep and strong, slaying even God should he distract thy attention from the chosen act. Last, all these things in one power time, let the midnight blossom flower, the oneness is yet, even in this my son, thou shalt not do amiss. If I restrain the expression, thy glance to rapture's darkling room, discarding name, form, sight, and stress, even of this high consciousness. are 7 keys to the great gate, being 8 in 1 and 1 in 8. First, let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will. Corpse rigid thus thou mayst abort, the fidget babes that tease the thought. Next, let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great sea's Pacific swoon. Third, let thy life be pure and calm, swayed softly as a will to live be bound to the one love of the profound. Fifth, let the thought divinely free from sense observe its entity. Watch every thought that springs enhance, hour after hour thy vigilance intense and keen turned inwardness. Love and gnosis, sixth on one thought securely pinned, still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame, straight and unstirred, burn up thy being in one word. Next, still that ecstasy prone, thy meditation steep and strong, slaying even God should he distract thy attention from the chosen act. Last, all these things in one or power, time that the midnight blossom flowered, the oneness is yet, even in this my son, thou shalt not do amiss. If thou restrain the expression, shoot thy glance to rapture's darkling root, discarding name, form, sight, and stress, even of this high consciousness. Pierce to the heart, I leave thee here, thou art the master, I revere thy radiance that rolls afar, O brother of the silver star. There are 7 keys to the great gate, being 8 in 1 and 1 in 8. First, let the body of thee be still, bound by the ceremony of will. Corpse rigid thus thou mayst abort, the fidget babes that tease the thought. Next, let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great sea's Pacific swoon. Third, let thy life be pure and calm, lovely as a well to live be bound to the one love of the profound. Fifth, let the thought divinely free from sense observe its entity. Watch every thought that springs enhance, hour after hour thy vigilance intense and keen turned inwardness. Love and honesty, someone thought securely pinned, still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame, straight and unstirred, burn up thy being in one word. Next, still that ecstasy prolong thy meditation steep and strong, seeing even God should he distract thy attention from the chosen act. Lost all these things in one or power, time at the midnight blossom flowered, the oneness is yet, even in this my son, thou shalt not do amiss. If thou restrain the expression, shoot thy glance to rapture's darkling root, discarding name, form, sight, and stress, even of this high consciousness. Pierce to the heart, I leave thee here, thou art the master, I revere thy radiance that rolls afar. O brother of the silver star. to succeed, and the way to suck eggs. This is the holy hexagram. Plunge from the height, O God, and interlock with man. Plunge from the height, O man, and interlock with beast. The red triangle is the descending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the ascending tongue of this interchange, the double gift of tongues, the word of double power, abrahadabra, is the sign of the great work. For the great work is accomplished in silence, and behold, is not that word equal to death, that is cancer, whose sigil is up, this work also eats up itself, accomplishes its own and nourishes the worker, leaves no seed, is perfect in itself. Little children, love one another. The way to succeed and the way to suck eggs. This is the holy hexagram. Touch from the height, oh God, and interlock with man. Touch from the height, oh man, and interlock with peace. The red triangle is the descending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the ascending tongue of prayer. This interchange, the double gift of tongues, the word of double power, abrahadabra, is the sign of the great work. For the great work is accomplished in silence, and behold, is not that word equal to death, that is cancer, whose sigil is this work also eats up itself, accomplishes its own and nourishes the worker, leaves no seed, is perfect in itself. Little children, love one another. The way to succeed and the way to suck eggs. This is the holy hexagram. Plunge from the height, O God, and interlock with man. Plunge from the height, O man, and interlock with these. The red triangle is the descending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the ascending tongue of prayer. This interchange with the double gift of tongues, the word of double power, abrahadabra, is the sign of the great work. For the great work is accomplished in silence, and behold, is not that word equal to death, that is cancer, whose sigil is death. This work also eats up itself, accomplishes its own and nourishes the worker, leaves no seed, is perfected itself. Little children, love one another. The way to succeed and the way to suck eggs. This is the holy hexagram. Plunge from the height, O God, and interlock with man. Plunge from the height, O man, and interlock with beast. The red triangle is the descending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the ascending tongue of prayer. This interchange, the double gift of tongues, the word of double power, abrahadabra, is the sign of the great work. For the great work is accomplished in silence, and behold, is not that word equal to death, that is cancer, whose sigil is chance. This work also eats up itself, accomplishes its own end, nourishes the worker, leaves no seed, is perfect in itself. Little children, love one another. The way to succeed and the way to suck eggs. This is the holy hexagram. Plunge from the height, O God, and interlock with man. Plunge from the height, O man, and interlock with beast. The red triangle is the descending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the ascending tongue of prayer. This interchange, the double gift of tongues, the itself. Little children love one another. The way to succeed and the way to suck eggs. This is the holy hexagram. Plunge from the height, O God, and interlock with man. Plunge from the height, O man, and interlock with beast. The red triangle is the descending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the ascending tongue of prayer. This interchange, the double gift of tongues, the word of double power. Abrahadabra is the sign of the great work, for the great work is accomplished in silence. And behold, is not that word equal to death that is cancer, whose sigil is cancer of this work also eats up itself, accomplishes its own end, nourishes the worker, leaves no seed, is perfect in itself. Little children love one another. The way to succeed and the way to success. This is the holy hexagram, plunge from the height, O God, and interlock with man. Plunge from the height, O man, and interlock with beast. The red triangle is the ascending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the ascending tongue of prayer. This interchange, the double gift of tongues, the word of double power, abracadabra, is the sign of the great work. For the great work is accomplished in silence. Behold, is not that word equal to Shepard's cancer? Residual is your gem. This work also eats up itself, accomplishes its own and nourishes the worker, leaves no seed, is perfect in itself. Little children, love one another. The way to succeed and the way to success. The way to succeed and the way to success. The way to succeed and the way to success. The way to succeed. This is the holy hexagram, plunge from the height, O God, and interlock with man. Plunge from the height, O man, and interlock with beast. The red triangle is the descending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the ascending tongue of prayer. This interchange, the double gift of tongues, the word of double power, abracadabra, is the sign of the great work. For the great work is accomplished in silence. And behold, is not that word equal to death that is cancer? Whose sigil is your gem. This work also eats up itself, accomplishes its own and nourishes the worker, leaves no seed, is perfect in itself. Little children, love one another. The way to succeed and the way to success. The way to succeed and the way to success. The way to succeed and the way to success. The way to succeed. This is the holy hexagram, plunge from the height, O God, and interlock with man. Plunge from the height, O man, and interlock with beast. The red triangle is the ascending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the ascending tongue of prayer. This interchange, the double gift of tongues, the word of double power, abracadabra, is the sign of the great work. For the great work is accomplished in silence. The way to succeed and the way to success. This is a holy hexagram. Plunge from the height, O God, and interlock with man. Plunge from the height, O man, and interlock with beast. The red triangle is the
descending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the ascending tongue of prayer. Listen to change, the double gift of tongues, the word of double power. Abrahadabra, it's a sign of their great work. For the great work is accomplished in silence, and behold, is that the word equals a shaft that is cancer. Who sees the list of this work? Also eats up itself, accomplishes its own end, nourishes the worker, leaves no seed, is perfected itself. Little children, love one another. The way to see. The way to succeed. This is a holy hexagram, plunged from the height, O God, and interlock with man. Plunged from the height, O man, and interlock with beast. The red triangle is the descending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the ascending tongue of prayer. It's interchange, the double gift of tongues, the word of double power. Abrahadabra, the sign of the great work. For the great work is accomplished in silence, and behold, is not the word equal to chest that is cancer. Who said you live out this work? Also eats up itself, accomplishes its own end, nourishes the worker, leaves no seed, is perfected itself. Little children, love one another. The way to succeed. The way to succeed. The way to succeed. Phoenix hath a baleful sound, fire for sight, a knife for touch, two cakes, one for taste, the other for smell. He standeth before the altar of the universe at sunset, when earth lies fades. He summons the universe and crowns it with waving light to replace the sun of natural light. He prays unto and give homage to Rahul, to him heathen sacrifices. The first bird illustrates the prophet drawn from scheme of incarnation, second fixed with his eyes, blood and vision. Illustrates the use of the noble life to feed the higher life. He then takes the oath and becomes free, unconditionally absolute, burning up the flame of his prayer, and born again, the phoenix hath a baleful sound, fire for sight, a knife for touch, two cakes, one for taste, the other for smell. He standeth before the altar of the universe at sunset, when earth lies fades. He summons the universe and crowns it
He standeth before the altar of the universe at sunset when earth light fades. He summons the universe and crowns it with natural light. He prays unto and give homage to Roku. To him he then sacrifices. The first cake burned illustrates the prophet drawn from the scheme of incarnation. The second, mixed with his life's blood and Eden, illustrates the use of the lower life to feed the higher life. He then takes oath and becomes free, unconditioned, the absolute, burning up the flame of his prayer and born again, the phoenix. for taste, the other for smell. He standeth before the altar of the universe at sunset when earth life fades. He summons the universe and crowns it with dazzling light. He prays unto and gives homage to Rahaku. To him he then sacrifices the first cake burnt, illustrates the prophet drawn from the scheme of incarnation. The second mixed with his life's blood and eaten, illustrates the use of the lower life to be the holy life. The man takes the oath and becomes free on condition. The absolute burning up the flame of his prayer and born again. The Phoenix. The phoenix hath a bell for sound, 5 for sight, a knife for touch, 2 cakes, 1 for taste, the other for smell. He standeth before the altar of the universe at sunset when earth life fades. He summons the universe and crowns it with magic light. To replace the sun of natural light, he prays unto and gives homage to Rahaku. To him he then sacrifices the first cake burnt, illustrates the prophet drawn from the scheme of incarnation. The second mixed with his love's blood and eaten, illustrates the use of the lower life to feed the higher life. He then takes the oath and becomes free on condition. The absolute burning up the flame of his prayer and born again. The Phoenix. The Phoenix hath a bell for sound, 5 for sight, a knife for touch, 2 cakes, 1 for taste, the other for smell. He standeth before the altar of the universe at sunset when earth light fades. He summons the universe and crowns it with magic light. To replace the sun of natural light, he prays unto and give homage to Rahaku. To him he then sacrifices the first cake burnt, illustrates the prophet drawn from the scheme of incarnation. The second mixed with his life's blood and eaten, illustrates the use of the lower life to feed the higher life. He then takes the oath and becomes free. Unconditioned, the absolute, burning up the flame of his prayer. And born again, the phoenix. The phoenix has a bell for sound, fire for sight, a knife for touch, two cakes, one for taste, the other for smell. He standeth before the altar of the universe at sunset when earth light fades. He summons the universe and crowns it with magic light to replace the sun of natural light. He prays unto and give homage to to him even sacrifices. The first cake burn illustrates the prophet drawn from the scheme of incarnation. The second mix with his life blood and Eden illustrates the use of the lower life to feed the higher life. He then takes the oath and becomes free. Unconditioned, the absolute, burning up the flame of his prayer and born again. The phoenix. Fire for sight, a knife for touch, two cakes, one for taste, the other for smell. He standeth before the altar of the universe at sunset when earth light fades. He summons the universe and crowns it with magic light to replace the sun of natural light. The phoenix hath a bill for sound, fire for sight, a knife for touch, two cakes, one for taste, the other for smell. He standeth before the altar of the universe at sunset when earth light fades. He summons the universe and crowns it with magic light to replace the sun of natural light. He prays.
scheme of incarnation, the second mix with his life's blood and needs and illustrates the use of the lower life to feed the higher life. He then takes the oath, he becomes free, unconditionally absolute, burning on the flame of his prayer, and born again defeated. For some, fire for sight, a knife for touch, two keys, one for taste.
He knows a lot about like folklore stuff. He linked the other day to the page about Moloch or something. I thought he was like some Jewish folklore god, but and I thought gods were lizard N-words.
There's no such thing as Gadriel. Gadriel is a fallen angel, and he's a Nagamari. Sure.
An N-word, Mari?
A Nagamari, sure. A Naga. A Draco reptilian is more accurate to call them. They call them dragons. These restorative texts are calling them dragons again.
Might not deserve. Are they lizards? Are they reptilians? Are they dragons? Which one is slop?
Out of back with a bunch of terrorists. They've been called lots of different
get from us. Why did they do that?
Yeah, okay, I've heard of this.
Because the U.S. is not that we don't have a
Disney
product
right
that
now
is
is putting out
specifically
some new movies.
Tied to U.S. supremacy. Actually, we got a lot of kind of characters out there, and I think Scott or either Marshall or Scott said that this makes no sense that someone would take such policy. It's actually stupid. If you want to increase your share of the market, knowing that you are at a disadvantage, that China buys most of their soybeans from Brazil, believe it or not, about 80% now. So if you want to capture part of that Brazilian export and get China, you actually would give them incentives, not what Trump did, because it caused that the stuff that we sell on them, if they say no, because they do have options. If they say no, it's so easy for them. They're not going to get hurt. Actually, the only side that got hurt on this deal is the U.S. side. Is first the farmers, number two, the taxpayers, because now for the second time we are asked to pay all these subsidies and monies to farmers for losing their crops. I want to give you some quick numbers for what happened in 2018. Our U.S. export for soybeans to China were 31 million metric tons to China in 2017. Right after that whole thing with tariffs, China said, "Oh, tariffs, we're not buying soybeans," and the export went down to 8.2 million metric tons. I mean, that's a big hit, prompting the government, I guess, to pay, I think it was about over $20-some billion to farmers. So they lost their crops. There is no buyers. They are not competitive because there's so much competition out there. And like I said, the only loser is us. What do we get back from that? The Chinese learned their lesson. They can't, even that 20 or 25% percentage, I guess, that they rely on from the U.S. soybeans, they couldn't deal with the volatility that whenever there is a president that like Trump, they're going to be dealing with higher prices, or they're going to be, they're going to be forced to slap, tariffs on the U.S. because the U.S. slapped tariffs on them. So they went ahead and increased their imports
exports and their relationship with countries like Brazil. In 2018, there was a jump of 30 million metric tons of soybeans from Brazil. They went from 53 million tons to 68. Guess what year 2024 was? 72.5 million tons. Why? Because there is people like predictability. They like good relationship when they are exchanging goods. They like to know the price of things. That's not going to go, 10, 20% higher from year to year. Add to that, the world is different. I'm bringing Brazil not because it's the first exporter of soybeans to China, but Brazil is part of the BRICS group. The BRICS is the group that got formed. It's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa as a way for global trade. They want to do a lot of cooperations among themselves and all that. So you're not just dealing with one country. I mean, if you were Trump, you're not just looking at China as, if you were the only one exporting soybeans in the world, I would understand because they have no choice to buy our stuff. But now you're not just, addressing China, but you're addressing China that is supported with, with a group of other nations that between themselves they form, a big conglomerate, and that's not a smart idea. I was very shocked this weekend. Well, I guess it was last week when Scott Bessent was in New York for the Deal Book, conference, and he had I think I mentioned this last time I talked about this. The interviewer was Andrew Ross Sorkin, the guy that wrote Too Big to Fail. He's a CNBC journalist. And Andrew Ross Sorkin asked him, he said, Scott, your ideas on tariffs were completely different in the past. I mean, he was, Scott Bessent was the chief investment officer for Soros Funds. He has his own hedge fund. I mean, the guy is no dummy. And he said, with the guy with that much experience, he said, well, Trump changed my mind on how you look at tariffs. Well, I think we need to bring Scott Bessent and ask him now, what sense does it make that the, taxpayers now have to fork up 18, how much you say, $18 billion to farmers?
Well, $12 billion this round.
Yeah, $12 billion. He also mentioned that we're making a lot of progress because China is going to buy 12 million metric tons of soybeans. Like I said before, that's not even equal to the amount of soybeans that we were selling China before when trade relations were normal. We didn't have to deal with. So they went all the way down so we can climb up to maybe half of what we were selling them. So now we can claim that they have increased our imports from the U.S. Although they don't finish the sentence and said although that increase only comes to about half of what we were selling them under normal circumstances in the past. So I find that to be interesting. It's the idea that we talk about tariffs today. It's interesting from the exporters, I guess, and how they getting hurt because they are getting, when you apply tariffs to a country, they're not going to sit quiet, and especially when they have options, and in this case they do. And then the fact that U.S. taxpayers are, basically covering for what Trump thinks it's a great idea. He doesn't just own his policies, but this is going to make the deficit worse. This is going to, increase our national debt and all that pizzazz. I hope I explained a little bit of what's going on. I mean, we're
actually one of the things that you just said reminds me of the unscrupulous retailer who raises the price and then brings it down slightly, but it's still above the price it was the week before.
and then says it's on sale at 10% or 20% off.
Well, they do have to mention stuff whenever you put a camera in front of them that these are wins, because somehow we don't have an administration now that has a cabinet that people that, self-respecting people that would own their ideas and say, no, I don't agree with this. This is wrong. Somehow these folks got chosen to based on loyalty, based on whatever they want to get. I mean, Scott Bessent is almost a billionaire. He has. I mean, like I said, he made. If anyone wants to look at his past, he made huge fortunes on trading currencies. Back in the 90s, he made a lot of money trading, betting against the British pound, and then later on against the yen. So he couldn't care less what the prices at the grocery store are. Scott was talking earlier about how Trump made his money. The most money that Trump made was not actually from his 50 years or so in real estate. Was this year when he got into crypto investing, because he timed 7 his net worth. He timed it by 7. He was at one point last year, I guess, it was a debate whether he was even a billionaire or not. He was like 900 million, 1.4 billion. Well, now his net worth is about $7 billion. So that's 700% more than what he did when he was a real estate developer. And it's all thanks to, crypto investing. And it's all because of his position, because of the regulation. I don't want to go far into this, but the idea that he's such a successful, I guess he's successful at marketing, at selling himself, at making, money for his family and all that. But as to he's the best custodian for U.S. interests, I don't know. I don't know about that. I mean, I just talked about a bunch of stuff that proves the opposite.
Thank you, Monsef. We'll go to Chris, followed by Michael. Thank you, Chris, for coming back.
All right, Gary. Hey, Gary, how you doing today?
All is well. That's ending well.
Well, that's a good sign. Let's get to the topic. If tariffs work, why are we bailing out farmers? Well, as everybody says, tariffs may work if you do them in a manner that you want them to be successful. I've come up with a new perspective on this, Gary, which is very odd because, well, I guess not odd for me. I always try to find a new perspective in most of this conversation. Let's give it. So the farmers, who are mostly Trump supporters, as we all may know, are back at it being bailed out again by Donald Trump and his actions, correct? The first time they were bailed out, the money was good. Double what we're bailing them out currently, right? That bought him more votes for the next time he decided on running, which he lost. However, people don't forget the last thing you've done for them. So sure, he's harming the hell out of our industries. He's harming the hell out of these farmers with these tariffs and these decision making. However, one thing he knows for a fact is if he gives back, they'll always remember him sharing and helping. So now he's giving less.
Do you think so, Chris, or do you think
I'm noticing the signs, yes.
Because it would seem to me that the farmers are a little bit more astute than that, and they recognize that this was created by the president through his tariff policies. And I don't think that they will forget that. I'm sure they appreciate the relief that they're getting, but I don't think that they appreciate that he put them through this in the first place.
Fool me once, Gary. Shame on you. Fool me twice. You can't fool me again.
Hello?
This is the sign of our country and the intellect and intelligence of the people who are in this country. If they were learned the first time, which they should have learned the first time, we wouldn't possibly be in this situation a second with their votes. With the rural area vote, we may not have to even be here if they didn't realize if they would have realized the first time that this man is a detriment to my company, my business, my family's business from generation to generation. He is a detriment, and it's scary because the first time he bailed us out, and he had to because he started the problem. If you do that,
but what do you think? But what do you think, Chris, of the argument that some are making that the Democrats never provided a viable alternative, so that in the aggregate,
that would be a lie.
That would be a lie.
Yeah.
That there wasn't that perspective.
Are you saying Kamala Harris wasn't a valuable option?
I think that in the minds of a lot of people who might have voted for Trump, in spite of the failings that they recognized that he had, they felt that the Democrats just botched that election so badly.
Are you talking about the farmers or or people in this country? Or
I'm a Democrat and I feel like they botched it. I'm a Democrat.
It's not your turn to talk. You'll get your chance. Please.
Put me in the queue.
You should be in the queue. You were on the stage. Okay. I don't believe that they botched it. I truly believe she had better plans than anybody that would have been the next president, even if they would have did a primary.
Did she articulate it well enough?
I believe she did. I believe we asked her to articulate herself way more than we asked Trump to do. Trump never articulated himself on anything other than we're going to get those immigrants because they're eating the cats and dogs.
And that's how the racists want.
All right, man, I get it. I'm going to get there too. But thank you. You got a waiter that'll put you down. I'm just going to tell you again so they don't put you down.
Well, let me do the moderating here just for a second. Hug, you're fresh to our stage, so you don't know. But we go one at a time in this. I know this is really against the culture of most of the rooms on Clubhouse, but that's just the way we roll. Go ahead, Chris.
Again, I don't want to call people racist for their vote. I will say a lot of people have voted for something that is still actively going against what they need in their own lifestyle. And that's why we have food banks running out of food across the country, because a lot of people voted for this administration, and now a lot of people are losing their jobs, even the people from the city and the people in rural areas. So again, as I said from the beginning, I think a lot of people don't make conscious decisions unless they're thinking about what did you do for me last time, which a lot of people, air quotes, still voted for him due to those tariffs and the help that he gave them, and with the lies that they were fed through the media, through all aspects, if that's the normal media, as in your news channels or your podcasters. A lot of misinformation was fed to the American people in the midst of them trying to push an agenda, which we are now living through. Okay, but back to what I was saying. I'm looking at this as if, yeah, they should have learned the first time they didn't. But now he can hold it against them. He just turned millionaire companies, multi-millionaire companies, into welfare cases. And he's just going to blame Democrats, as he's doing. Everybody's probably seen what happens today. He blamed Democrats. He changed the dynamic of what our farming industry has looked like for the farmers.
Can you give me an example of a multi-million-dollar company that has turned pauper?
No, I'm saying the farming industry right now needs.
Oh yeah, the farming industry specifically. I got you.
Yeah. That's all I'm talking about at this point. The farming industry needs these bailouts to keep their farming industry alive. They're holding on by as much of a thread that they held on the first time, and this thread is actually worse because China's not buying anything and don't plan on it. As much as they sat down and they air quote negotiated and had it all figured out. Well, we had 100 negotiations out of Trump already that we haven't seen much solidified from. This is just another one of those instances. And the farmers are now welfare cases in their own country where they were the multimillionaires' rural industry. And that's detrimental to the whole country. So I'm looking at this as a hostage takeover. Maybe not of their farms, but you're going to have to need me. Trump made farmers need him. The first time and definitely this time. So we're watching the tariffs not work. However, if I'm going to continuously bail you out as your politician or the person that you feel represents you, you will start getting leeway to the person who is also offering you the welfare. You will start giving them a little bit more leeway because they can dictate how your next 3 years go also. So we might not hear much more slanderous things out of those farmers about how the tariffs messed up the whole farming industry and coming out talking about how they could possibly lose their family farms anymore, because the number he gave them now is less than the number he initially gave them, which means they will need more money eventually. Also, if we're going to stick on to the tariffs, that tariff money has been spread so thin between conversations of who will get it, where it would go to, and who will benefit. If I told you that I had $100 and I talked to you about that $100 and I gave you $600 worth of things I was going to do with it, you would look at me and say, how the fuck do you think you're going to do that? That math doesn't make sense. But every chance he gets, he goes on TV and says, I'm going to use a portion of that tariff money for this. I'm going to use a portion of that tariff money for that. I'm not going to tell you how much tariff money we received. I'm going to just say trillions of dollars are coming in. Again, just bad financial literacy from a businessman, we were told. So again, let's get to the topic. If tariffs work, why are we bailing out the farmers? Well, and to me, I think it's a hot topic, bro. Do you know how this room works? Because you're probably about to hit the ground.
Man, you've been talking.
And just like
that. You see, here's the thing, Hug. I decide, and my moderators decide, who talks and how long. Not you. This is not a bottom-up room. This is a top-down room.
I tried to help you and tell you just to shut up.
I know, you tried to save his ass. You did, Chris.
You just don't listen. All right, well, back to what I was saying. If tariffs work, why are we bailing out farmers? Again, the way that I'm seeing them now, and this is a new revelation, I'm starting to believe the tariffs are working exactly how he wants them to. Because he's leaving more people into the position where they're going to need him, and he has time. So if I penny pinch you now, you won't say anything later. You will figure out that I'll need you, that you'll need me again, way before I actually have to even give you the money, and you will start conforming. So that's why I think the tariffs are working now for him. Maybe not for the rest of us, but when has he ever cared about the rest of us? Let's be real there. Hey, Gary, man, I appreciate it. This was a really good topic because you allowed me to take a second guess at it or a second look at it. And I think I'm seeing something different. I think I'm actually seeing that oligarchy, that king mentality, that a lot of people that, you know, this doesn't fit in that form. I think it does. I think he actually has the ability now to control those people who are multimillionaire rural area individuals who hire, fire, and keep the rural area afloat in some bit of this country. And now they're tamed to have to realize Daddy Trump or Grandpa Trump or however they want to call him does have the ability to make all this stuff go away if we just don't listen and follow the rules. And I think he's done that to every other entity as far as TV, as far as, hell, we watched Paramount go through it. We watched everybody have to find themselves accepting what he wants because he distributed and he influenced it with the power he showed. That's all I got, man.
Thank you, Chris. We'll go to the very patient Michael, followed by Merrill.
Thank you. I think the use of the tariffs that we're seeing clearly has not worked. All he's done is destroy trade relationships that have gone well and been prosperous for us for generations. He's done more to accelerate the de-dollarization of the rest of the world than any. Like, the reason we were fine during the pandemic is that we were able to buy shit, with money that we printed, right? People were still interested in our, money that we essentially pull out of our ass, right? There's a certain point when that stops working. And nobody has done more to accelerate us getting to that point than this president. It's insane. Okay? Like, not to mention the amount of money that he's caused to need to be printed to cover this is like, he's personally responsible for more devaluation of the currency than any other president. Like, he's accelerating our demise in so many ways. right? Like he's removed and rolled back, making sure that our food is safe, like raised the amount of acceptable bacteria and viruses, in our food, where they just go, oh yeah, well that's fine. Like, I'm sorry, I'm getting off point. In terms of the tariffs, it's entirely misunderstanding the way that the global economy works to think that this is a fucking good idea to impose high tariffs, right? Because most of what America creates is dependent on source materials or other materials from other places, right? So if every time things go in and out to create the things that we produce, we're paying these exorbitant, insane prices, like that does nothing to help American business. That actually destroys a whole bunch of American businesses. It immediately makes, kills the often smaller, profit margins and percentages that existed, right? Like, he's already caused so many small businesses to go out of business. Like, the idea that he's a good businessman is insane. It's already been proven that if he simply took the money that Daddy gave him, and instead of fucking it over, instead of fucking up over and over with failed business after failed business, simply if he put that in an S&P 500 fund and done nothing else, he would have been so much more rich than he was up until this point, where he's now making his money off of, bribery and open grift. There's now a private member club in Washington, D.C., where for $500,000, which is what you need to pay to be annually to be a member of this club, basically what you get is the opportunity to get close to the Trump staffers and administration so that you can bribe him more directly. Like,
can you be more specific and tell us exactly what that is? Because I've never heard of this club.
It was a private members club. I'm sorry, go on.
I've never heard of the club, and I've never heard of the bribery. Bribery is illegal.
Yes, bribery is illegal, but so we're looking at this man being openly bribed for pardons, right? For he's being paid smaller amounts than people are owed, from things they've done and harms that they've caused. Need to pay them back for like pennies on the dollar. Like, there's never been open and obvious grift as there has been in this administration. Like,
not true. Ulysses S. Grant got in just as big a trouble for that.
Excuse me, is there a way that we did this round? This was not it. Am I wrong about that?
I'm being very specific. Ulysses S. Grant got caught up in a scheme in which he was believed to be bribed. This has happened before. This is not yes.
I didn't say bribery. It was new. That's not. No. You said some strongman bullshit. Right? You're distorting what? Listen. Do I really have to keep talking over this person? I thought this wasn't how this room was run.
Yes! Finally, somebody roast that little fucking loser.
Yeah, sorry. It's just very disruptive when you have to deal with something like that. I never said that bribery was new. I said the level, the scale, the openness, and obviousness of the bribery has never been. Like,
I'm telling you, that happened under the Grant administration. The
Grant administration.
Talking about happened under the Grant administration, the Fillmore administration, and prior to the Cleveland administration. In fact, the Cleveland administration was so bent on getting public service protection because of the obvious bribery in public service, right? So, no, the scale is not unique.
So, by the way, thank you for that, Michael. The argument that about the devaluation of the currency has been greater under Trump than any other president. I don't know how you can quantify that. One thing you can potentially quantify are assessments over devaluation of the dollar under Democratic administrations versus Republican administrations, and there is some analysis that shows that the dollar gained 5% annually under the more annually under the Democratic presidencies than under the Republican presidency. So there may be a pattern there based on economic philosophy, and I don't know whether it's really fair to say straight out, as the call said, that the currency has devalued more under the Trump administration than under any previous president. I would like to see data that would support that contention. And Michael, if you want to post it to the chat above, if you have the data to support your contention, that'd be great. Meryl, followed by, I don't know whether that's Al or AI. I think that may be AI. Go ahead, Meryl.
Hi. I missed the very beginning, so I apologize. I probably...
Oh my God, you missed me giving a tip of the hat to you. Forget it, I take it all back.
Wow, you're knocking me over on this one. I don't believe you.
Am I lying, guys? Am I lying? I talked about you posting to the chat, and I directed people to it about the double in size bailout of the farmers under his first administration, which I was unaware of, or I had not recalled until you had posted it to the chat. So I did give you a tip of the hat.
Did you fact check that? Yeah, it was 28 billion, 216 and 218. And you actually should have known this because you're from Michigan, and farmers, we had to bail farmers out. One of the things I will say is, first of all, Trump always knocks welfare, constantly knocks welfare, but Trump pays welfare. That's what subsidies are to farmers. When you're bailing people out, that's welfare. Excuse me. The other thing I will say is that I appreciate Trump because he's the only person that I really pay attention to who lets me know that I'm actually smarter in math than he is. Excuse me. He's not even as smart as a sixth grader when it comes to that. With regard to tariffs, this is something that's stuck in his craw all along. And like most things do, when he thinks he knows best, which is often, you cannot shake him. And that's probably what happens. We talk about people who know better and all of this other stuff. He doesn't listen to people who know better. And that's a bigger problem. And with regard to tariffs, every time that man stood there and said, it is not a tax. First few times, maybe people thought that was true until they started paying. And then they realized, whoa, this is a tax. We do pay more. And we saw it immediately. We saw it in car prices immediately. Then we saw it in grocery prices. But he will still tell you it is not a tax. And he still will tell you that the tariffs are paying down our deficit, which is impossible. That's just impossible because our deficit increases every day. So the tariffs can't. But that's also to show you how good his math is. He also tells us that he's knocked down pharmaceutical prices, pharmaceutical prices 800%. So that would mean that any drug that you are getting, you're being paid 800% to take that drug. But he hasn't figured that out, that we know better. And really, that's essentially the other part I would say is Monsef was right. Other people are right. He was never a good businessman. He has made money through the presidency. And that is because our Congress has allowed him to. That's because everybody just is shutting their eyes and let him do it. But other than that, he was not a well-respected businessman in New York. He was known in New York, but he was not a well-respected business person in New York. And even though he had licenses, he had all these companies that he was licensing, they were using his name. They all went under too. If you think about it, think back before he was president. Every single thing went under. Try airport, Trump meat, Trump wine, Trump even the urine test, the home urine test. So it's I just want to say that he makes me feel better that I know more than he does, but he makes me feel worse that I pay more than he does. Thank you.
Funny when you mentioned sixth grader. When I was in the sixth grade, I joined the stock club in school. Sixth grade. And that's where we learned we actually bought stocks. Like, I don't know, 8 or 10 of us, and we all pooled our vast piggy bank resources and bought stocks. And we learned how the stock exchange worked as a result. We had skin in the game. So that's how you learn. Thank you, Miro. We'll go to AI.
Hey, Gary, this is AI, aka candidate John Kitover. I'm
AI going once.
Hey, I'm here.
AI
Can you hear
going
me?
twice. There you go.
Hey, this is candidate John, now known as AI here on the app. And in Illinois, there's 90,000 soybean farmers in southern Illinois, where Darren LaHood presides in his congressional seat. So the reason why we're bailing out farmers is because a lot of the Congress people, a lot of their voters and their constituents are farmers, but it's also major aggregates and major farming corporations getting huge bailouts. I think it was 17 billion. Meanwhile, China just announced that their surplus annually is now exceeding $1 trillion. So this is a civilizational game that America will not stop playing because we keep borrowing, spending, and taxing. And this is not a race to the bottom, but this is really truly a race of survival. If we stop our deficit and we only spend what we take in and we start paying down the debt, the whole system will collapse. There will be no profits. There will be no growth. And so the whole system is based on Please wait till I'm finished, Marshall. Take your jacket to the dry cleaner. It looks like it needs to be cleaned. I'm not finished speaking. I'm still breathing and speaking.
Thank you. Sticking to the topic,
we did it again! We did it again! Take your jacket to the dry cleaner, Marshall.
Tendency to insult you, and it would not be allowed. So,
he has a tendency.
Hey, Tiger. We see your microphone open, but we do not hear you.
Tiger, Tiger, Tiger.
Marshall.
Okay,
Marshall.
Give Tiger opportunity to sort that, and we will go to David, followed by Stan.
Hey, Gary, how you doing?
A-okay.
Marshall and the rest. So I just looked it up. There was 60% increase in farming bankruptcies as opposed to last year. About 181 farms filed what they call a Chapter 12 bankruptcy. If anybody's familiar with bankruptcies, there are different numbers of.
They kicked me. Pathetic. Super pathetic. But that's good. That means we've gotten to them.
React and give it.
So, and then definitely with everyone, that's all people talk about. Who I just don't hear women saying, I want to find them and I want to build with them. I don't hear that.
Because we don't say it like that. We don't even like those words. That's how a woman would say it. Because she thinks, when she hears build with you, she thinks struggle life. You gotta say it a certain way. Like, it's just semantics of man and woman talk, and that's just not how we would say it. But we will be in partnership with you. Like, we will see. It's just.
Okay, this is the Gary Baumgarten and Marshall Stankin Rankin show. This is your friend AI. You just got kicked. I think Marshall kicked me from the room as he usually likes to do in his cool little cheetah jacket. He's so edgy in that cheetah jacket. Such a bold fashion statement, truly, that Marshall's willing to sport a cheetah jacket. Like, what goodwill did he find that in Laredo, Texas? It could be a very expensive piece of haberdashery. I'm not sure. Never sure with these things, you know. Oh. Dennis James has returned back to Clown House after a long absence of bull rushing stages.
Yes, many have argued that China's in the passing lane of us economically. And when a major market for soybean producers decides to go in another direction and also retaliate, all of a sudden our farmers are forced with having to find new markets to sell their product. And once you plant and grow, the investment is made, right? So when that crop's got to come online and go to market, and there's nowhere to send it, well, these guys are going to be in a lurch. So, and the rub I see as well, Barry, that China has pivoted to places like Argentina, which we gave a $20 million bailout to. So there's that. There's going into our hemisphere and doing business with folks south of the border of us. So, you know, maybe Trump can address that as well. So overall, I mean, you've got a lot of mileage over this popularity and this populism. And I think people are no longer saying that they have a friend in the White House with regard to some of these policies. And then also, Gary, you've got major retailers that are suing, trying to get ahead of the Supreme Court tariff legality decisions. Major retailers like Costco, which is suing for a refund, if you will, of all their products and the prices that they've had to jack to sell to their consumer. And they're very, very loyal to their customer base, as you know. And not just Costco, but other companies like Bumblebee Tuna, big major tire firms, and so forth. And unfortunately, there's a lot of small businesses that don't have the legal firepower to remedy this bad policy decision, and they don't have the lawyers to go do their bidding. So many companies, if the Supreme Court does rule that these tariffs were not utilized properly with regard to I believe it was the War Powers Act or the Emergency Powers Act of the 70s.
You can't insult Marshall stinking Reagan's jacket!
They're at the mercy of the administration giving back the money. And how is that going to work? I mean, that's another whole other can of worms in itself. So, so let's just do right by the American people. You know, some are saying, hey, we already made a mistake electing this guy. We've got midterms coming up next year, but let's hope that the administration can do something.
Turn it around, guys.
To make this work, because it's not.